Is it better now? Can you
Much
guys hear
better.
me?
Much better.
Okay, great,
Although it's
great.
although it's cracking a bit.
And so here I'm sharing my screen. Can you see it?
Yes.
Great. So this is Introduction to Entrepreneurial Leadership Program. Again, somebody wants to enter. Okay. So this is the code of the program. My name is Abha Gautam, and we are going to start with the scope of the module. What this module is all about. We have this week one starting with Introduction to Entrepreneurial Leadership. The whole week we will be introduced to this entrepreneurial leadership program. Then in the week two, we will talk about the entrepreneurial leadership, but in a broader sense. And then so on and so forth. Some more important things will be added on, just like what is the scope, what is the significance of having this course in our, in program. And then we have leading people, because you see, this entrepreneurial leadership is made up of two words. One is entrepreneurial and another one is leadership. So when we say entrepreneurial, can anybody tell me what does it mean? Can anybody tell me what do you mean by entrepreneur? Hello?
I think hello.
Yes. Yes, Mohammed.
Yes. Okay. So I think when we talk about entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial, it's about um taking initiatives that maybe solve a problem in the society for either social benefit or financial benefit.
Yes, that makes sense. Anybody else?
Yes, ma. Is it entrepreneurial or entrepreneurship?
Yes, Richard. I'm asking
I would like,
entrepreneur. Entrepreneur.
yeah, entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is a person who takes the initiative to establish a particular brand of products or service, who
Right.
bears the risk alone and then enjoy the profits alone.
Okay. So if you are
Yes, I
talking
also
about the, yes, Simon?
yes, thank you, ma'am. I wanted to agree with the previous person who defined who an entrepreneur is, in the sense that an entrepreneur is a person to start with. Entrepreneur is a person, he or she is taking self-initiative in order to start a business which can provide service or products and enjoys the profit to himself or herself, and also enjoys the loss to himself or herself. And this same entrepreneur is innovative. Thank you, ma'am.
Great, great. So now if you know that entrepreneur is that person who wants to take risk, who has got this idea of building, his or her own empire, to start with, be it a, small business or a large scale business. But do you believe I just want to know your perspective. Do you believe that entrepreneurs, the personality, the traits of an entrepreneur, they are just born? Or do you believe that no, entrepreneur has that trait which is acquired by the surroundings or from the surroundings? What do you think? All those traits which an entrepreneur is having, and that's why that person is being called an entrepreneur. Do you think those traits, risk taking ability, to take an initiative, all those traits, are these acquired, or is a person who is having this is born with those traits, that not anybody can be an entrepreneur? It is something you have to born with. What do you think?
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
I want to believe that an entrepreneur, um, everyone, so to speak, is an entrepreneur in the sense that we take initiative in different spheres of life. And so, on my limited knowledge of an entrepreneur, and I can answer to say the trait can be imparted through training or through observation from others in the environment where they are found. But at the same time, it can be inborn, and it takes someone to recognize or realize that they have got those traits of an entrepreneur. That is my opinion.
Great. Okay, Keith, you are saying something. Tell me.
Yeah, of course, I wanted to comment from the perspectives. I think I would try to give it through two different theories. For you, the trait theory, I may agree that some entrepreneurs are they are just born because they like it's an inborn trait. For example, for someone to be an entrepreneur needs to have to be born maybe with a good financial saving ability, able to make the good decisions, sound decisions, because entrepreneurship is entrepreneurship needs a lot. So using the trait theory, I can agree that maybe it's something that one is born with. However, when you look at the behavior theories, one also can agree that it's a lengthy process. Some people can be born from a family where there were no businesses, but they can start engaging in businesses and learning how to do the businesses. So that is most behavior. So most of the entrepreneurs we have nowadays, they are coming from the behavior perspective. They were born and they never have the skills. They started acquiring the skills to the extent that now they are well profound in terms of entrepreneurship. Thank you. Over.
All right. So you guys can learn from this attribute that always, even if you are putting your thoughts, you are penning your thoughts down, but remember to back up your thoughts with some theory. So well done, Kate. Now, now when you have said and mentioned that there may be chances that entrepreneur is a person who is born with this, or maybe we have the cases when these traits have been acquired. Whatever the reason is, that comes in the picture of entrepreneur and entrepreneurial program. But what have we got here is the mixture of entrepreneur and a leader, which brings us to this course, entrepreneurial leadership. So that person now will be having entrepreneurial traits as well as those leadership attributes which we have to understand. See, if you want to build up a business, even from the perspective of entrepreneur, if you have an idea, you want to take initiative, even then you have to build a team. You have to make your employees, your people who want to work with you or for you to work actually, and to to have sympathy, to have that, sense of belonging to your business, to your idea. Once, let's say, if you have that business idea and you share it with me, and uh, I just incline towards that idea, and you are saying that, okay, let's just do it, this business. So if I am convinced and I want to build up a team, I should have that leadership skill also, to take everybody on board. This is the, very important thing. So even if, let's forget about this module, if we see in general in our business aspects also, every now and then, we, every day we meet so many people, we make big networks. Business is all about networking. We get to know there that, if I am speaking and you are listening, then there is something in my words, or my status, or something in my aura, just like a leader, that you are listening. Otherwise, why would you listen to me? It is just that you have to have those traits which will involve other person, to, which will involve that person into your conversation, into your idea, so that that person can also walk on your path. So this is what we are going to learn in this module. Are we on the same page? Everybody is clear about this, why we are having this module?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, great. So now, when we are seeing this, we are done with the scope now. So by week 9, we will be having, exams. And on 24th of November, you will be having this assignment due date. Ready for this? So because it is on 24th November, that means up till week 4, the syllabus will be covered. I'll give you some assignments. You have to submit it. We'll talk about it in brief later on. Now, we have to define this entrepreneurial leadership. Just like I said that this is the mixture of an entrepreneur and a leader. So this person, if we talk about the person, so that person will be an entrepreneur as well as a leader. But if we talk about the traits, then that person will be having entrepreneurial traits and leadership traits. So now it is important and prerequisite to know who is an entrepreneur, which you just mentioned, you explained very well, and who is a leader. And there is a very thin line when you say, these business terms and terminologies and job roles, they have very thin line which makes you, different from other roles. So when we say entrepreneurial leadership, because leadership is added into an entrepreneurial aspect, so it becomes a mindset. What it becomes? A mindset which focuses on all those things which an entrepreneur does. That means innovation, risk management. So you have to be a leader, not a boss. Please remember, boss cannot always be a leader. I'll tell you what can be the difference, and you must have observed by yourself also if you have been working. You know that, not every person takes the team together. Sometimes we are working for some people and they take our credit. We are doing something and they never acknowledge that, you have done a great job, or this is the feedback. They always want to let you down. So those people are not leaders. They may be our bosses, but those are not leaders. If we want to become a leader, we have to know, let's say I'm a teacher and I'm teaching you. I should know the boundary that, I have to be sympathetic enough to be with my students, that here they are lacking, here they are, doing better, even my thinking. So I have to take you all together, then only I can become a leader. So all those traits, if we mix together and take them or cover them in our mindset, that will make this entrepreneurial leadership. So let's talk about the features. Entrepreneurial leaders, they take risk because of course they are entrepreneurs and also leader. Let's say if I am a leader, I would like my team to, grow. They all should have equal opportunities. If I'm seeing from here, sitting on my chair, that, among five of my team members, one person is like, maybe he or she's finding himself or herself an unfit for the team, or not imbibing into the team, or not understanding, maybe because of the language issue, or something is there which is lacking, and for because of that reason he is not, comfortable in adjusting into the team. So I have to come up, I have to give him or her that opportunity, even if, not that particular task which is which can put us in risk, but at least something in our team at that job role which will make him or her feel like, yes, we are also involved into something, to make our team inclusive. But then sometimes we have deadlines. Can we do it by, by equalizing or by considering deadlines also? So that can be a risk. We are betting on that person who with we know that, that person cannot do it, but still we want to bet on him. This is a risk, and leader only can do it. Okay, to what? Just bear with me. Okay, to make sure that all the team members are there with equal opportunities. So the entrepreneur always look into the opportunities from where they can find, that big bang. They always encourage innovation. They are driven by innovation. They have that idea which can make them different from others, and this is how their business get um that roller coaster ride. Then what we have is organize and motivate a group of people to achieve a common objective. See, if I am a businesswoman and I want to, obviously, if I am a businesswoman, I want my business to be profitable. But what others have to do, it is my goal. How can I drive all of them with the common objective? That is the ability and skill of a leader. And if you combine it with an entrepreneurial aspect, it will become entrepreneurial leadership. That yes, you are having that business sense, you are taking risk in business as well as with people. So business is entrepreneurial aspect, and with people, whatever you are doing, which is making them, inclined towards you, towards your goal, that makes you a leader. Then that environment is dynamic. Anywhere wherever you go, you must have heard about pestle analysis. Do you know pestle? PESTLE or TEL. P for political, E for environmental, S for social, T for, we have pestle, so technological aspect will be there, and then TEL, so environmental. If we have covered environmental for first E, then second E will become ecological. Okay, and then L, that is legal aspect. So this is one of the analysis which we do in marketing. Okay, pastel analysis. So there we know that, we have internal environment in our organization, we have external environment which are not under our control. For example, let's say tomorrow is deadline for completion of some task, to serve a clientele. But what happens today itself, one person, very important person, told us that, okay, I'm resigning. Now it is a big challenge to fill that gap, because we cannot say, however, we have notice period, of course, but let's say if that person now without intimation just, went, what would we do? This is an internal environment where we have to have some, some additional people, and we should declare, we should always divide the scope of work between two people, so that if one is absent, one is not there, we can have, alternative. So when we have organizational environment, we have changes, be it internal or external environment. We'll be having changes. Those can be instantaneous, like, very, uh, of- all of sudden they come up, or they can be planned, that we know that we are changing our team, we are changing our product, we are creating technological innovation. There must be change management involved in it. We have to make everybody agree to come up with the consensus on this particular product. So all those things you have to manage as a leader. And because you are managing your business, so of course it is your own business, so you are an entrepreneur, and you have to have those leadership skills, so it will make you an entrepreneur come leader. Okay, now when we say influence, leader always influences people, all those with whom he or she surrounded by. So you have to make sure that you positively influence people. Okay, you have to create that ideal work environment. It is not that you have hired someone, you can fire that person anytime, anywhere. You have to be that sympathetic. You have to make sure that, these reviews, let's say, if you are saying you are a business owner, you have hired someone, and now after 1 month when your task is done, or because of covid, that many people have been laid off by the companies, you have to think twice. Because if you want to see it in a sympathetic emotional intelligence manner, then see it that way, that that person had served you in the times when you were needy, you were in need. It is the aspect of a leader. But if you want to see it in entrepreneurial manner, you can see that this person will go and put your reviews in Ambition Box, Glassdoor, Google, anywhere, which can spoil your, goodwill and image of the company. So think that way, that it can harm your business. So either ways, you have to maintain that positive influence, be it with reinforcement, like, by pressurizing yourself because of your goodwill, image, and all, or you can do what, it is your inner beauty, inner thinking, that yes, we have to take everybody all together. Now you may ask, ma'am, see, it does not happen always, because we have to ultimately look forward to have a profitable business. So sometimes we have to see, because in covid we were not having any, sales, that much sales figures as we were having, in usual days before that, pre covid era. So we had to lay off those people, so we could not do anything. But at least, that's why government had to intervene. And government, in some of the countries, government said, see, if you are telling them to leave jobs, you have to give them 30 days payment. This is so that they can find out some other jobs, or else you can keep them on percentage basis. For example, you can give them 75% of salary, 50% of salary, so that at least they can survive. So this is how you can bring into the change, by keeping both of the sides, making your business profitable, thinking about your business, and thinking about your people. Okay, then what we have is, understand that there is role is a leading one. Okay, you have to make sure that you are a leader, and leader has has to ride the vehicle. So everything which will come up, be it good or bad, you have to face. It's not that if you are working for something, you have asked your colleagues, your subordinates to do that. If it is good, then you say, I have done it. And if it is not good, you will say, oh, this person has made it, has done it. No, this is not the right idea. So you have, your role is leading one, and leaders have different personalities. They think about themselves, but before that, they think as an environment as a whole. Okay, then what we have, you have to help. If you are a leader, you have entrepreneurial skills, you have to help others to the best of their abilities, because what will happen in that sense, you will be thinking after all for your business. So if you train some people, and provide them uh, best facilities, best abilities to grow, best environment to grow, then this will ultimately help your business. However, it also has, see, you have to make sure that you are not biased towards any of these points. You have to go with critical analysis. Okay, critical analysis means just show the both sides of coins. You, if you are saying that help them perform better abilities, best of their abilities, then what can be the negative or dark side of this? Have you ever heard that, one company was doing mass recruitment, and they asked, okay, we will provide you 3 months training, but what if after getting those 3 months training, or working for 4 hours, 5 hours, we are not having any retention of that employee? What would we do then? We have invested so much in our training. So this is the dark side. That's why, last year I knew about this. I got to know about this, that HCL. Everybody knows about HCL? Yes? Are you there?
Are you say Airtel?
No, HCL. HCL.
ATL?
Okay.
Just let me write down. HCL.
Oh,
H for,
okay. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the company.
okay. So basically what happened, they asked people, we will train you for telecommunication business. Okay. But what you have to do, we will not pay you for 4 months, and we will deduct those 4 months salary as a part of training, because nothing comes free in this world. You know, now as an employee, you can
Wow.
think that, yeah, as an employee you can think that what the, what are they doing? This is just like, uh, it's not a better deal. But then again, if you think as an entrepreneur, they have got they have come up with this situation after going through so many retention failures. Okay, so because retention of employees is a big challenge. When you study entrepreneurial leadership, it is not only about entrepreneur and leader, it has so many aspects. So you will talk about entrepreneurial leadership in marketing, you will talk about entrepreneurial leadership in HRM, you will talk about in operations. So every aspect we will cover. Now, all these traits, you have to come up with those case studies, that how you can fit those traits to resolve the problem discipline wise. So by discipline, I mean operations, management, HRM, all these are disciplines. Okay. Now, if we talk about the
Mhm.
next attribute, it is entrepreneurial leaders focus on turning problems into opportunities. That we know, right? You have to, whenever you come to your boss with problem, they'll not acknowledge, but you will say that this is the problem and I have found this solution, or this is the SWOT analysis. Have you heard about SWOT analysis? SWOT. S means strength, W is weakness, O is opportunity, and T stands for threats. You must have heard about this, right?
Yes, madam.
Yes.
Okay. So there, if you are coming to your employer or your boss or your, whatever your team lead, you are saying that this is the problem, but I have found this opportunity. This is the way out. So that person will acknowledge you and you will be in good books. So this is how you can do, and it is a two-way process. Both of the people who are involved in this, be it a leader or a follower, they have to go hand in hand. So entrepreneurial leaders focus on problems, but they turn them into the opportunities, so that both business value, that is economic value, and leader is all about society, people. So social value is also involved in it. They look for new opportunities and the new ways, so that they can apply those innovations in their business as well as in the team. For example, you cannot say that by reading this slide, I got to know about entrepreneurial leadership. See, if you want to learn in a better way, you have to read so many case studies. Just read all those case studies who are successful and who are a failure. For example, if I give you British Airways, Ryanair, these are two airlines which were very, very competitive in nature. But then in this fight of competition, who won and who failed, and how Virgin Airways come in between them? This you got to know by reading their history. Once you know, and you know that these case studies talk about because of their team they lost the competition, because of their operations they lost. So then you get to know that this is the don't, which we don't need to add into, which we should avoid in our operations. So this is how we got to know which, see, as a person, I cannot see all the perspectives. But if I talk with people, if I imbibe into them and will ask them what's the solution of this problem, we have this brainstorming sessions and all. We mix with those people without seeing this hierarchy, that I am at a higher position, how can I talk to them, how can I say that, what do you think, what can we do in this? It's a ego clash. It should not be there, otherwise you cannot be a leader. So if you want to look for new opportunities, you have to see many perspectives, be it through case studies of successes and failures, be it with your people. Just go to them, take a step ahead, then they'll also feel like we should also do something for our leader. Then you make a team. So this is how you can get to know about new opportunities. Let's move on to the next slide now. So we have talked about this trait, right? Emotional intelligence. Do you know what is emotional intelligence?
Yeah, I have some ideas about emotional intelligence.
Yeah. Okay. So emotional intelligence is what? Ability to understand, use, and manage emotions, not only in oneself, it is about others also. So when you are dealing with, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
if I am a leader, I'm a boss, and I had a very big fight with my sibling or my partner, for example, and I came to office. Now I cannot be like that because I had a bad day at home, so I would do the same with other people also. We have to separate this personal and professional life thoroughly. Similarly, those emotions which we are having, we have to manage it for ourselves, and for others, with others, to others. So all those prepositions work here. So when you want to behave like, a professional, you have to make sure that you are self-aware about your emotions. You are self-regulated, that even if you are, let's say if you are an HR, human resource, you are working for a company, you cannot shout and yell at people, because we are not living in colonial era anymore. We are now having rights of the people, where everybody has to be respected, even if it is, if that person is at lower post or higher post, doesn't matter. So you should not have this attitude that because you are HR, you can talk to people like, which is happening actually. So you have to be self-regulated about
Mm-hmm.
your emotions. Yes, Kevin?
No, I
Okay,
was just agreeing with what you're saying,
all
that
right.
in a good number of companies, the HR sometimes behave as if they are a mother and father, and they can shout at you because they have some level of control as far as your life in the company is concerned.
Correct, correct. And when you show them that you are in need, and you how desperate you are to have to be in this company because you are in need, then this is the plus point for them to, show your place to you. So anyways, we have to think this. And always, if you want to have that environment, we have to be like this, that if we, every single change has to be started from us. If we want us to be treated respectfully, we should make sure that if we are at higher level, anyways there is hierarchy. If I'm at the second position, there must be someone who is at first and who is at third, who is higher and below than me. So I have to make sure whatever I am expecting is being served to others by me. So that self regulation has to be there as far as emotional intelligence is concerned. Then other aspects like motivation, empathy, social skills, all these are also concerned with emotional intelligence. So this is the first and foremost and very important aspect of an entrepreneurial leader. Then, of course, authenticity and integrity. You cannot claim false promises or spurious aspects to any person. If you want an entrepreneurial leader, we can see, many job scams are happening. Consultancies, initially they talk about jobs. They are saying that, okay, we are hiring. So do you want to work for us? And later on, we get to know that, oh, they are asking for money. No, if you want to build up your business, you have to be transparent enough. So authenticity and integrity are very important. Then tolerance for risk. If you cannot take risk, so first of all, whenever you have to have two plans, plan A, plan B, in case if one fails. Then you should always have that tolerance, plus minus 5%, 10%, depending on what's your level of taking it. So tolerance has to be considered, and you have to be ready to take risk. That you have to think and make plan in such a manner that, let's see, and we are doing it, let's see, if we will fail, then this is the thing which we can do. And you have to be that person who lives in reality. You cannot say, oh, please don't say it, it has finger crossed, it has to be all okay. No, this is not an entrepreneur, neither a leader. You have to say what's the reality. You have to face it. So tolerance for risk has to be there. This is one of the important traits. Then of course decisiveness. We know, let's say if I am, you know when we say personalities, I'm telling you, there are 5 types of personalities according to the research of Michigan University. Okay, let's say we are all here. Some of us maybe, okay, let me tell you firstly the acronym. 5 personalities are ocean. OCEAN. O stands for openness. Those people who are very open, who say it without thinking. without giving it a second thought. Then we have C. C are those personalities who have conscience. So C stands for conscientiousness. That means you are taking each and every step of yours in a very calculative manner. You are saying that, I am taking this decision because of this logic. So those people are having conscience. Then OCE. E means extrovert. So when you say extrovert, what does it mean? Those people are never afraid to open up. Openness and extrovert, they have a thin line of difference, because in extrovert, you are very much open towards the opportunities and you think before what you are doing. But it's not that you are not talking, or you are not, or you are about to miss any opportunities. It's not that. Okay. So after OCE, we have AN. A means agreeableness. You must have come across those people who say, even if you are saying yes, they are saying yes. If you are saying no, they are also okay with that. So those people who are very, very agree with whatever you are saying, those people comes under this category. And trust me, agreeable people, though we are told that we should be agreeable, we should be having this personality when we are in front of our parents, our elders, our teachers. So that personality works there. But because this is innate personality, so these people can never be, though I should not say never, it is very exhaustive word, but these people have less chances to be a leader, because leader has to be very decisive, they have to be very assertive. If they are taking some decision, they should not be influenced by people. Now you must be thinking, ma'am, before that you were saying that every consensus has to be there. See, there is a difference between consensus and the assertiveness. You will take consensus before taking decision. You are taking it because to have because of having this perspective, to take that perspective from all of them, that what can be done and what cannot be. Because you have one mind, you can go with it. But if you have several minds, then you can think a broader picture. Now, if you are thinking in a broader picture manner, at last you have to come up with the decision which will be yours after calculating it, right? So that's how it is different. Last personality is N, ocean. N means neuroticism. Sometimes those people who are always nervous, everything gets into their nerves. It's like examination. I have to appear for examination. No, I cannot do it. Oh my God, what will happen? They always think negative. They are very, very conscious about what they are doing, and they cannot take any initiative. So those people comes under this category. Now, these are not exclusively restrictive 5 personalities, but yes, most of the people come under these categories. They also have some parts, and but we will talk about them later on. I'm telling you about entrepreneurial leader, why they are decisive, because that personality, they have to make that personality. If I'm saying that tomorrow is deadline and today we have to complete it so that we can give it for review, then do it. Okay. It's not that you are a leader, you are taking everybody on board, but nobody is listening to you. Then you cannot be a leader. You are not a leader. Then resilience, it is very important. Even if you are failing, you have to stand up on your feet. You have to make sure that you have that self esteem. Then it brings us to self belief. We are about to end this class and people are joining even. Okay. We have a sense of passion and purpose. I mean, not we, entrepreneurial leader, they have passion and purpose, that let's do it. Okay, we will do it. And they always motivate each other. They say, even if it is a task which seems like next to impossible, they say, no, we have this, they give examples to you. that company, that team was so less, even they were less in number than us, but still they were able to do it. So why can't we can also do it. So this sense of passion and purpose, they always remind people of that common objective, why we are here for, why we are doing this. This is the purpose. So this is how a leader come entrepreneur do or purposefully make this work done. Then we have focus of focus on developing the strengths of others. See, everybody has anomalies. Let's say I am good at speaking, but I'm not good in writing. And we are a small team. We have to allocate our tasks. Someone will do content writing, someone will post it on social media, someone will take care of back end, someone will publicly speak about those things. So let's bring out those strengths. You cannot say, oh, why have we hired this person, this person doesn't know anything, just because he was lacking in one thing. See, if you want to build a team, if that person is on board now, so just look out for the strengths of that person, so that it will be a plus point. Otherwise, weaknesses, see, weaknesses in everybody, there is nobody without weakness. So you have to focus on strength so that you can ultimately get benefited for your business from that. Then we have communication skills. It is important, because see, if I know only my mother tongue, which is Hindi, and for example, and I cannot speak with you, but you are in my team, I cannot speak in your language. It is not about only language. If I'm unable to, whatever in my brain, that idea I'm unable to pen down, unable to explain you, unable to take you on board, it is just impossible to be in a team. That team will be, there is a Tuckman, there is one theory of Tuckman who says, whenever you form a group, no, that group, initially when people come together, they start storming. They have those whatever, what is it called, they never come into consensus. There are some clashes, conflicts, but later on they forming, norming, then they start performing. At the last stage they start performing. So how can they perform? Even if there are clashes, which every team has, you have to bring them together with the common goal. And how can you do so? With your leadership skill, and the most crucial part which has to play, which is played by communication skill. You will talk to them maybe separately or in a group, or in that persuasive skills you talk with them. And then communication is not always about language, that if I'm not knowing English, then it's not that I'm not having communication skill. Communication is, if you have an idea, you are good enough, you should be good enough to uh, to ejaculate that idea to other, to tell them that this is how we can do it. Now we have vision, support, self belief, shares. If we are having success, we have to share it. There is a company, Thomas Cook. Have you heard about it? Thomas
Yes.
Cook.
No.
Yeah. Okay. You can jot it down to search it. You know what they do? If they get the better deal, if they are profitable in this financial year, they give the bonus starting from the lowest level of the company to the highest level, and that will be the same percentage of the profit which they are having. So some people are like this. So this shows the environment. People want to work with them. Before this layoff, people wanted to work in Google like anything, because they provide maternity leave. They have those, what is it called? All those particular things which a person can aspire for. That job security. Now we cannot say that job security is there, but still, that vision, the supportiveness, and the success part which you share with others, that also uh, you know makes them feel like inclusive into your team. Involve, you have to involve people, you have to create that environment. If you are a leader, you should not be jealous of your subordinate, that oh god, this is more talented than me. If this person continues to work here, this will snatch my post or something like that. No, remember, your post cannot be snatched until unless you stop learning. You have to keep up the growth spirit, keep learning, and make that environment which is for them also to have this growth particular thing. And honesty is very important. So whenever we say what, if you are having entrepreneurial lead, if you are an entrepreneurial leader, so you have to be there for your employees. You have to build in them the ability of what, self generate. Just give, throw a problem to them, they should be able to come up with the idea. You should not spoon feed them. They should be self generative, self reflective. You self reflection means what have we done right. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, we can get you.
Okay, we're running out of time. That's why I think it is a reminder. Just let me complete one or two slides more. So we have reflection is like, if let's say there is an incident, for example, today's class. So now you will think later on what was done in the class. What were your thoughts? Did you like it or not? If a question was thrown at you, were you able to answer it? Those inside thoughts which you are having, and then you will evaluate, why was I having those thoughts. Now you have to think in this manner, that action plan. Let's say, if you if you come up in future with the same incidents, how would you react? All these thoughts come under reflection. So if we are failed in one plan, if we have to plan for the second thing, then we have to think that way, what did we do wrong previously, and what can we do in a better way. This is how we can do it. Okay, then self correction, please allow. See, if you give that freedom to your employees, to your followers, that try it, what, at most what can be done. Maybe we could not get the desired results, but at least for small tasks you should give them that freedom, so that they can self correct themselves. They are also ready to take risk. And then that liberty, once that liberty comes into picture now, that create awesome results, that generate awesome results, trust me. So what you have to do, this is your homework. There are some entrepreneurial leader, you have to research about them, like Steve Jobs, everybody know. These I have not done it intentionally, but all of them are Americans. You can come up with your country people also. Whitney Wolf, this is a dating app, Bumble. She has founded it. Huda Khatun, this is a Huda beauty brand. So Vera Wong, she was a fashion designer. Now she has opened this wedding dress collection, and it is a huge blockbuster. Then Dan Hendricks, it is this company is about the biggest distributor of roofing material. So this company is providing largest supply chain, in fact. So you should read about their characteristics from maybe Wikipedia or any reliable source, and try to figure out what is common in them. Okay. Later on, we will go ahead with this. Now tell me, do you have any doubt or anything? Anybody wants to discuss anything? Are we good to go? So far, so good?
Okay. I just wanted to maybe ask one question about, are we going to maybe like have this each class, after the class, are we going to have the material, or is going to be at the end? And I just want to appreciate the way you go about the class. It was really the explanation was good, and the way you have been explaining the concepts, it was very easy to understand. Yeah, so
Thank you so much. It means a lot coming from students, very touching. Now, about this question regarding resource material, definitely one option is, do you have WhatsApp group for other modules also?
I have not seen any WhatsApp group for modules.
You have other subjects, other teachers, have they formed any WhatsApp group? No? Okay. Then I'll upload this resource on this classroom channel. Okay.
yeah,
Thank you.
yes, I think that would be great.
All right. So see you tomorrow, same time, and with
Maybe
much more energy. Okay.
before you go, one of the best.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Take care. Bye bye.